I was wondering why I wasn't in the frame. Yes, people. What's going on, everybody? Just thought, since I'm waiting here for Younes, let me take this time to interact with the people them in the chat. Karan, I see you. Big up yourself. Come on, Exeter 1985 in the building pointed out a fatal error there. So big up yourself, Exeter. Big contributor to the channel as well, man. Always supporting the thing. You get me? As are all of you. Karan as well. Joey, come on, fam. I see you. Man, Lee went hard in the paint on the terrace. He must have. I need to catch up on that still. I watched some of it. I only got up to the bit where the brother started, where he jumped into the live. So I only saw about 5 minutes of it, and Lee was just going ham from that point. Man, like Shane, I see you. Big up the man for the content week in, week out. Come on, bro. If I could do it every day, I'd do it every single day, bro. But that's the aim. I'm trying to do that. But money, if you make still, you know what I'm saying? Respect the hustle. Come on. That's what we got to do, bruv. Just keep grinding, grow the community. You get me? Timo and Timberland Kaku are both for Chelsea. I can't reel off them words yet. I'm still 1 minute 15 in. I don't see a way we give. Hey, listen, he's got to go still. If he carries on stropping around, they ain't picking up his weight. He's got to go still. All day, every day, man. Listen, I ain't going to sit here and pretend like I knew Claude or I ever spoke to Claude. But, like, as somebody, before I started doing this channel, I was very much into the whole fan channel thing. And obviously, Arsenal Fan TV were the originals. And Claude, for me, was definitely one of my favorites. It was Claude and Ty. That combo was just, it's goated, isn't it? Claude and Ty. Then you've got Lee Judges, Troops, you know, the old school guard. You get me? Like the old school guard. And Claude is definitely a legend. Like, so when I heard that news about Claude, that shit broke my heart. Like, as a fan, it really broke my heart. And I wish, that's something that I really wish I could have done. The only regret that I have coming into this thing is that I didn't start earlier. So I could have worked with Claude. See what I'm saying? So rest in peace, Claude. This is his 1 year anniversary. Gunner did say that they were going to be doing a like a tribute thing over on Lee Judges' channel. Not too sure what that is, but I'm sure many of you lot are subscribed to him. So please do make sure you find out that time. I'll be tuning into it. I won't be active on the live, but definitely for Claude, I'll be tuning into that. Show some respect to the legend. You get me? Timo came out and said he thinks he was at fault for sacking of Frank for his missed chances. Timo's a very modest. He's a modest dude. He's modest. Hold on. I just got a message from Younes. He's going to be on in 2 minutes, Younes says. Timo, listen, we're going to come into Timo, but like, I'll give my thoughts on that. Actually, since that's one of the topics, we'll come on to that, Shane. Get me? I see you there, Nathan. Big up yourself. Zishan, I see you. Big up the chat. Yeah, all day, every day. Big up yourself as well. Nippon, big up yourself. Exeter 1985. I'm going to come to your super chat in a sec. I just got to go through everybody. You get me? Big up Noz. Come on. Football style, got to shout out everybody while we're here, man. I'm gonna not do, you see, if I'm waiting for someone, the lateness is greatness thing is getting cancelled. I'm just gonna jump in and just interact with you lot and just see what you lot are saying in the chat. You get me? So looks like there is a hashtag yes to Ricketts going within the Chelsea board. So disappointing. Wow. Actually, that's something interesting that you mentioned, that Chelsea fanatic. That's actually something that I saw just before the live stream. Simon Phillips tweeted some comments that Paul Canoville made, as we know, ex-Chelsea player who's an ambassador for the club now, and he had some interesting things to say about the Ricketts. So I'm going to give that a few minutes before we get into the main content when Younes comes in. I just want to see his thoughts on that. Come on, Nippon, we see you. Big up yourself. Karan, yep. Nathan Harding, loving the streams. Hey, listen, loving the interactions over here, loving interacting with you lot. Jeffrey DaCosta, what winger would you bring to Chelsea for the next summer? Mine will be Rafinha Dembele. Now, hey, a lot of you are going to be like, Guni, you got some next energy for this one. Hear me out, though, people, yeah? Hear me out. If Usman Dembele continues the rest of this season injury-free, and he's available for a free, boy, I don't know, you know, I might have to, I kind of been, because he's getting consistency, because my worries with him was never the ability. It was two things. It was the mentality off the pitch, and obviously his fitness. So I'm keeping an eye on that one, because that might be a little diamond in the rough, you know. And the best football that he's played has been under Thomas Tuchel. So let's see. Obviously, we've got the whole ownership thing that we've got to get over first before we go into transfers. But that you see how things can change in the season, over the season. Do you know what I mean? So I know a lot of you might not agree with me. A lot of you might not agree with me, but you get me. It's my opinion. There are other options out there. Obviously, I'm hearing Serge Gnabry is looking to get out of Bayern Munich as well. He's looking for a loan or something. That could be interesting. But yeah, again, just off the top of my head, Rafinha will be available. I think those three are the ones that stick out in terms of availability. Do you know what I mean? Of availability. So, Guni, you're gonna do watch it on for England game? Maybe. I'm not gonna promise. Maybe I might have to. How are you, my bro? All good, man. Exeter 1985. Thank you very much for the super chat. I thought you were making Younes get up at 4 a.m. when I saw the time that was listed. Yeah, I was supposed to put 11:45 a.m., which is 4:45 p.m. in the UK, but I put 11:45 p.m. by mistake, so I kind of threw the people them off to those that were jumping in from YouTube. So my bad. But thank you very much for pointing that out. Exeter 1985. Hey, we've got the GOAT. The GOAT has finally arrived. You get me, man? Like Younes,
yo,
Younes has got the Algeria shirt on, repping.
Come on,
yes, come on.
Big day.
Today's the day. Whether is it qualification day?
Yeah. Second leg at home, Cameroon 1-0 lead so far. Yeah, it's gonna be mad.
Where you at? Are you like at home or you're?
We're at home. At home. We got an away goal. So yeah, it's looking like if we get the result today, we're through. We're going to the World Cup for the fifth time. So,
do you know what? I'm more leaning towards you lot as favourites, to tell you the truth.
I think so. For tonight, I think so. We should. And even the other games, all the other games look a bit mad because Nigeria, Ghana are like 0-0, so anyone can go through there. Morocco have an away goal. Tunisia have an away goal. Egypt beat Senegal 1-0. It could be a big North African party in Qatar, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah.
Listen, a lot of things to talk about. Look, I titled this video about Timo Werner and Conor Gallagher, but as you know, Twitter never sleeps, social media never sleeps, and there was something that did catch my attention. It is in relation to the whole takeover situation, and it is to do with the Ricketts family. But a surprise ambassador by the name of Paul Canoville has come out with these comments, as Simon Phillips has tweeted, if you haven't seen it.
I haven't, no.
Paul Canoville met with Tom Ricketts in London last week, as per Mirror Football, and was quoted as the club's official ambassador on racism. I was grateful to be asked for my views on the sale. I was pleased to meet with Mr. Ricketts and expressed my concerns over some of his family members. I was reassured by his response, but I also fully understand and appreciate the position of the Chelsea Supporters Trust, who still have some serious reservations. Yeah? The Chelsea Supporters Trust have some serious reservations. Let's not forget that. I'm hoping to meet the other potential buyers in the coming days to have the same honest and frank conversations about their values and their commitment to diversity and community work. These are challenging times for all Chelsea fans, and it's critical that the club is sold to the right person. So those were the quotes taken from Mr. Paul Canoville. Simon Phillips has tweeted that. If you do have Twitter, go and have a read of that. But very, very interesting comments coming out from Mr. Paul Canoville, who's, if you don't know the man's history and his fight in terms of his racial battle during the time he's played football, you get me. Younes, what's happened? What's going on here?
Yeah, so the whole thing's in the mud, mate.
Oh wow! So okay, so shit.
On Twitter, he put a statement out saying none of it is true. It's a complete lie.
Okay, listen. So Guni's had his pants pulled down there. Yeah. Guni's had his pants pulled down there. It happens. So the quotes are fake then.
No, literally 12 minutes ago, Paul Canoville, obviously at King Canners, that is his Twitter account. Today, you will have seen an article in the Daily Mirror about my meeting with potential owners of Chelsea. I have not and will not give my personal endorsement to any bid. The violent racist abuse I have received this afternoon has shocked and upset me. I won't be making any further comments.
And this is directly from Paul Canoville's Twitter account.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected. I've had my pants pulled down, but we can smile about it. We can move on, and I can say to the people, them, my bad.
Someone on the Ricket, no, someone in the mirror then is on the Ricketts payroll.
Must be.
Must
Who
be.
knows? Yeah, it must be. So
Which
we
is
have
weird.
we have
I swear,
clarified. Yeah,
the mirror in this country are meant to be even though for me I don't really buy the whole thing, but the mirror's meant to be a left-leaning paper. The Ricketts are very far from left.
yeah.
So
So
I don't know. Money talks,
yeah.
I guess.
But yeah, had my pants pulled down there. But big up Mr. Canoville, who is I think he's sharing the same sentiment as most Chelsea fans at the minute, that we're not really particularly pleased with a Ricketts takeover at Chelsea. I hope that is enough to make his voice heard, because this whole social media hashtag no to Ricketts. I mean, it done well for its platform, but what I think would have served more of a purpose for that would have actually been a physical protest. But let's just hope Paul Canoville continues to make his voice heard in situations like this. But yeah. Hey, Joey, thank you very much. You did try to save me, but we can't always be saved. Sometimes we have to be muddied, and it is what it is. It is what it is. But we're gonna move on to the rumors of Timo Werner, something which I am sure is authentic this time. My pants will stay up for this story. Yeah, promise.
Belt's tightened, yeah.
The belt is fastened tight, bro. I'm losing blood circulation to my legs and all sorts. Yeah, I'm making sure this one is correct. So, Timo Werner apparently is seeking an exit during this summer. And a tweet from CFC Pice, big up CFC Pice, who does his best to keep us updated on Chelsea news over on Twitter.
Is it Pice or is it PYS or is
no,
it
no idea. I hear everyone
all
calling him Pice. Yeah. So
I hear PYS.
So Pice, PYS. Did you get me? Your name is Pice now to Guni. I'm gonna call you Pice because that's what everyone calls you. But breaking: Timo Werner and his advisor are looking to leave Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea will not stand in his way if the price is above 40 million euros in bracket 33 million pounds. His agent is already talking to several clubs, one of which is Borussia Dortmund. However, his salary is an issue. Well, kind of knew that. £270,000 a week is what Timo Werner is earning. And has he put in any type of performance to warrant that kind of money? Absolutely not. And will a club like Borussia Dortmund be able to foot that kind of? Because remember, that's going to be the basic wages most likely to ask for. He's not going to try and he's going to do his best to keep his wages at the same or improve. So, might be a very difficult move. Unless we agree to facilitate part of the wages, which again, we have no idea what the owner's mentality is on things like that. So it's hard to say. But Timo Werner, this is what I will say about him, right? Is although it hasn't gone right for him, especially with the expectations we had when he did join the club, he has handled himself in a fairly professional manner, I think. And I think even with the questions that were thrown at him, because it was clear to everyone in his dog that he was suffering, and you could see through his body language, his confidence had been shot. But even the sticky questions that he was asked, he still kept it very respectful, very professional of Chelsea. Whenever he comes on the field, Timo, he will make his mistakes. He might fluff a shot or whatever. But Timo's always giving his 100%. He's always breaking his back and giving the work for the club. So I want to be respectful for Timo. I do think it's the right time for him to leave. And I do think even fetching 35 million pounds for what we've seen from him is a good enough price tag. So I say this with the most respect because of the way he's treated the club. But yeah, Younes, your thoughts on Timo are bait, but I've got to ask you anyway, man. What do you think of this? The timing's right, the price tag's right. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, man. I think for everyone, the best thing would be for him to go. As you said, like he's not caused a fuss. That's why all of us are quite like, at least on a personal standpoint, have nothing against the guy. On a footballing standpoint, we've been really patient. I think we've had that expectation of, don't worry, he'll come good. He'll come good. He'll come good. And it's like, okay, yeah, he's not. It's not going to happen. He hasn't been, I don't want to say he's been a total and utter flop. He hasn't. He's had a few moments, but again, a few isn't enough. overall, I think him going back to Germany is exactly what he needs. He is a German striker in and out for the Bundesliga. It's as simple as that. That's where he suits. And he's even admitted that after he scored against Israel for Germany. And I addressed it yesterday. He said that the style of play he reckons is better in the national team than he finds at Chelsea. And he finds more opportunities to score. Now that's a bit wrong because he finds tons of opportunities to score for Chelsea. He just can't bury it. He can't hit a barn door at Chelsea. So it's like in terms of the way that they play in Germany, the opposition that they come up against, whether it's the national team or you're in the Bundesliga, there's tons of space to run into. There's loads of, there isn't as much speed. It's not as pacey as the Premier League. It's not as physical as the Premier League. So obviously he's going to have a bit of an easier time. The finer details are what helps him. So him going back to Germany, I think he'd probably go back to Germany and get 35 goals a season. He would probably smash it.
I think so.
And when that happens, I don't want people to go, "Oh, we should have kept it." No. It's got nothing to do with us. It's just the way it is. It doesn't work here. It works over there. That's it.
Yeah.
Whereas Kai Havertz, for example, is killing it right now, so we're good.
Yeah, exactly. We're good with Kai, and then again, it's like this comes back down to the scouts. Timo is really a victim of that.
Exactly
as well, because the correct scouting should have been done. You should have looked at the type of player that Timo Werner is, analyzed the league that he's playing for. Do you know what I mean? Because there's traits in the Bundesliga that are not there in the Premier League. For example, the defensive line in average in the Bundesliga is a lot higher than it is in the Prem. You're not going to find as many low blocks there, and Timo thrives in those situations. You get me? Getting in behind and just burning up that space one-on-one. Boom. You see what I mean? It works for Timo. But over in the Premier League, you see what happens when he has to play in front of a defense. He's not technical enough to do it. He can't hold up a ball. His shooting is completely off. He's got no long range ability. Even inside the box, he's not reliable. It's just not worked out for him. It's not. We can't play down his contribution to our Champions League win. I will say that.
Of course.
Yeah, you get me. I want to be as fair as possible because although he didn't get the goals, he provided in every other way. For the Champions League, and he was key, particularly in the Real Madrid, in the two legs against Real Madrid. He scored in one of them, had to say in that. And we've got to give Timo the respect. We have to give him the respect. He came to Chelsea. I truly believe deep down that he tried his best. I do.
100%.
Yeah, I think obviously the style of play in the Premier League, and obviously the psychological factor, as you can see, that he struggled with the bad press and the fans getting on his back. He struggled with it. But where do you see Timo? What teams do you see going in for Timo Werner? Where do you think he would fit outside of the Bundesliga? Because that's the obvious one. But outside of there, where do you see him fitting?
If I'm honest, the French league, I think he'd do well in. Because defenses over there are a bit of a myth. I think overall that's probably it. Italy, I don't think he would. Actually, Italy, maybe. Spain, no. I'd say France. Aside from Germany, I'd say France. But overall, I think he'd go to either Dortmund or to Bayern Munich. I would normally say just Dortmund, but with Lewandowski and his situation and age and all of that, if they're looking to move on, Timo would probably go over there and smash it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what happens with Timo, I wish him the best of luck. I hope where he goes, he's successful as long as it is not at our expense. I hope Timo is successful in what he does because he treated us with nothing but respect. Even when I feel he didn't have to, he still did. So big up Timo Werner on that. And the next question would be who is going to replace him? That's the thing. We'll just talk 5 minutes or 10 minutes into that. Now, I know we're in a situation where it's impossible because the takeover is really what is the umbrella over everything. Nothing moves until that's sorted out. That's taken into account. But if we look at who's available, you've got Anthony from Ajax, who quite a few people are raving about. You've got Gnabry, who apparently might be available for at least a loan in the summer from Bayern Munich. You've got the situation with Rafinha. We already know that the quote unquote, as it stands, old guard at Chelsea were already interested in signing him at the end of the season. And I'm going to throw in my agenda bait, Michael Elise. So just putting him there. I don't know if he's available or not, but the agenda is flying from now. I love that kid, Michael
Yeah.
Elise. So who would you see replacing? Uzi as well. Usman Dembele is an interesting one, bro. It's an interesting one. And Younes is like, Guni, please don't say what I think you're about to say. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I beg you.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Why? Because I mean, that performance against Real Madrid looked stellar.
Yeah.
It looked quite good. But yeah, it just depends again on Dembele. It depends on his body, like his legs. Can they go? If he doesn't get injured, he's a top player.
Well, here's the thing, Younes, is that he's had a bit of consistency under Xavi.
He has. Yeah, he has, and I like it.
So
like
now this is what I said before he came to the stream. I interact with the chat, and I said, if he goes injury free between now and the end of the season, or if he picks up a minor injury and he's out for one game or something, I'll still give him the blight. Yeah. It might change my mind, you know. I'm not gonna lie, because of all things considered. Look, it's a free transfer. Obviously, there's wages you got to consider, though. But it's a free transfer, and the fact that the best football he's ever played has been under Thomas Tuchel, as well. So that's definitely an interesting one for me.
Yeah.
The other three, Gnabry, I think he's a talented player. Again, I've got the whole PTSD with the Bundesliga thing. I do, but I think he's shown me enough to say that he will break that stereotype, but I'm still iffy about it.
Yeah, Gnabry is a similar one to, like, you see the way that Sancho's now come into his skin at United.
Yeah.
That sort of vibe. Or the way that Aubameyang came from Dortmund to Arsenal when it clicked at first, at least. You know, Gnabry, Bayern Munich smashed it. Coming to Chelsea with a Thomas Tuchel in charge, I think it would be nice. Now, what I do want to say real quick, the chat are all going Broza, right? Trust me.
Yeah,
I'd be taking Broza instantly, but I agree with where I think you're thinking, Guni, as well. Because if you're looking to get rid of Werner, you're not saying bring in another striker. You're saying bring in a winger. You're right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So Broza is not a winger. He's a striker. Broza comes in regardless. Broza replaces Lukaku, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. So Werner to leave, getting a Gnabry or Rafinha or Dembele, that would work.
I've spoken several times on here about Broja. That's why he goes without saying for me. He's a must. He's a must. And I've even said, even if we don't sign a striker or a false nine or whatever it may be, I'm happy with giving him a chance. I've got absolutely no issue. 100%. So Broja over here, trust me, like, it's a no-brainer. If you don't hear his name, don't mean that we don't want him in the team. It's a no-brainer, which brings us on to our next Cobham graduate, who did get man of the match in the internationals against Switzerland, Conor Gallagher. And I will say this, although he did get man of the match, I won't say it was one of his best performances. I won't. I say it was all right, decent performance.
I think that was England altogether.
Yeah, it was England altogether. So you get me. But look, the point remains is that week in, week out, this kid is just consistently impressing. And, you know, since that man of the match thing, and I don't know if it's since then, the news has intensified from the reporters that Chelsea are looking to integrate him into the first team in the summer. So I think, me personally, I think it's a very good move. I think the qualities that he brings to the team, listen, in terms of just how comfortably he's dribbling, how he operates comfortably out wide, even his deliveries coming from out wide, shooting from outside the box, shooting inside the box. If you see Conor Gallagher, you see what I like about him, and this is why I say I'm a tech merchant. Yeah, you see why Conor gets so many goals, in my opinion, is when he receives that ball. Look at his body positioning at all times. It's at the perfect position to strike first time and cleanly, and to pick his position. He's a master at that, and we're missing that at Chelsea Football Club. Absolutely. Yep. He's key to Crystal Palace, absolutely key to that system. Now, obviously, making a step up into Chelsea, it's a different thing. And I do think there are a couple things that he needs to iron out of his game. He's still young. He can get over them. One of them is he can lose possession quite a bit in deep positions because of his indecisiveness. I do like that he's got vision, but sometimes he's not really built the bigger picture and he tries to force the Hollywood passes sometimes that don't always pay out. Now, these are things that can be ironed out, like I said, with
Thomas Tuchel.
experiences. You see what I'm saying? Thomas Tuchel might point him out, might point out these things to him, and you'll see the improvement. So I'm not too worried about these things, but how would you integrate Conor into this team in the summer?
Oh man, it's difficult because we always play with a double pivot and probably a man in front of them.
Yeah.
Where does he fit? Does he fit as a double pivot, or does he fit as the man in front of them?
I mean, here's the thing. Conor, we know attacking mid is very strong there. That for me, I think that's his favorite position and possibly his best position. But we've seen him utilized in that sort of box to box role at Crystal Palace as well, and he's been doing that like it's his natural position. Now that brings me on to the other thing, is that he has that versatility to play several positions. And why I did mention that those wide areas, is don't get it twisted. Don't be surprised if you see him on the off occasion used wide. Don't, because he can operate there pretty well, and he can also do the inside forward role as well. I think he's got it in him to do that. But obviously, primarily, I imagine he'll be used possibly in that attacking role, but I'm gonna guess he's gonna be more the box to box. I think that's the kind of angle that Tuchel's gonna push him as, because you see that situation with our transfer window. We're obviously looking to get that defensive mid and all that, and all the plans are up in the air. We've got to look at what we have immediately now and consider them as serious options coming into the first team. So by that, I just think Conor Gallagher you can refine him into one of those positions and he'll kick on fine. But let me just get your thoughts on that, Younes.
I agree. I think Conor Gallagher plays a little bit well. I think he's more suited to playing a little bit higher up, to the point where he can reach the box and become a threat in terms of attacking. That's not to say that a midfielder in a double pivot can't do that, because they can, but it would leave whoever's next to him potentially exposed from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that we saw even like Lampard done it. He was on that left-hand side of a 6/8 at times, and he would get onto the edge of the box and come back to defend and would be the complete box-to-box midfielder. He could do that, and it worked. So it's probably going to be a bit of trial and error. I'd like to see him a little bit more forward, though, because in terms of the way that we move the ball with the double pivot, playing along the back, getting through the middle, in terms of the two midfielders in that double pivot, distributing to the sides, we don't have anything wrong with that. What we have something wrong with in this team is someone to link that midfield with that attack and get that attack going centrally. We don't have anyone there. I think Conor Gallagher can walk straight into that. And I think he has the ability to play that. So personally, if it were me, I'd play him in front of that double pivot. And then we'd go to if it's a 4-2-3-1 and he plays as that guy in behind the striker, or if we play if it's a 4-4-2 diamond and you have two strikers and one man in behind and he is that guy, it can work. It's going to be very interesting to see how he fits in, though, because I'd like to see him in terms of getting stuck in. He always gets stuck in terms of advancing with the ball. He does. He contributes with the action. He shoots from distance, which is, I think, something we've all been screaming for on a consistent basis. He does it. He assists really well. He passes really well. He's got good vision. Yeah, I'd play him as that guy behind.
I think as well, like to add to pressing from the front as well. I think that just improves us massively as well. I mean, could you imagine in games where we perhaps playing Mason Mount possibly on that left wing for whatever reason, then you've got Conor Gallagher as well in front of that pivot. You know what you're gonna get from that front line. So those teams like the Manchester Cities, the Liverpools, where will be able to press that little bit more intensely. I think that's going to help us in terms of closing the gap. So I think Conor really does improve us, but I also want to be careful of not putting too much expectation on the man. You understand? Because he's still young. There's still some transitioning and development that he needs to do into this squad. Because, we've been lucky since Thomas Tuchel's come in, the majority of players have either operated at a standard that has been good enough to accompany the system, or they've exceeded it. We haven't really seen it go south that much. Obviously, Saul, the loan thing was a bit of a mad one. You get me? You might get inconsistencies here and there from the youth players, but overall, you see it's working. So we've got to remember to give Conor Gallagher that time to get to adapt to the expectations. Well, I don't even think the expectations are too much. I think these players coming through Cobham know what the expectations at Chelsea Football Club are.
100%.
They know how ruthless it is. So I'm going to even take that back. I don't even think that's a thing. Right now, Connor's doing what he needs to do. And I mean that in the sense of he's playing every single week and he's showing, like, and no disrespect to Crystal Palace, Diego C. Palace, no disrespect to your club. You get me? Love you as one of our mods. Palace is a mid-table club. So it's very important that him coming from a school like Cobham to that club, he's got to show that he's the best player at that club, undoubtedly. Yeah. And he's done that. I think, now that he's done that, I think he's earned his right to say, okay, cool. You've sent me out on loan. I've done it at West Brom. I was the best player there. You sent me to Crystal Palace. I'm definitely in and amongst the best players there. Now is my chance to step in the squad. So that's really my take on Conor Gallagher. How much time do you have, Younes? I forgot to ask you.
I've still got a few minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just looking at the chat, seeing what everyone's saying. Use him in a 4-3-3. So yeah, exactly. It's pretty much the same thinking that you had, Younes. Have him in front of the pivot. I think most people can see him that being his strongest position. Ray Allen brought up a good point and one that really pains my heart, but I've got to come to accept it. The Tchouaméni situation looks like it's done out here. It looks like he's going to be on his way to Real Madrid. They look very much interested in him. He's come out and he said that he wouldn't mind playing for the club. I don't. This one here is painful because I felt that this was the perfect model of player that we needed in that midfield position.
Yeah.
And I think any one of those midfielders would have definitely thrived working next to him. I mean, it's never too little too late. I will say that it's never too little too late. While he's still a Monaco player, anything can happen. While the transfer window is not open, anything can happen. Real Madrid haven't made a move. If we do get the takeover soon, we might resume with our original transfer plans. We never know. But I hope some miracle he does turn it around and he does come to Chelsea. Exeter 1985, big up yourself. Thank you very much for the super chat. All these transfers and additions sound great, but what if the government drags this out into the summer transfer window? We know that this was intentional against Chelsea and nothing about Russia. Well, I think again, Younes, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. There have been safeguards put in so the club doesn't suffer long term. So, for example, we're hearing of these deadlines. I believe the final bids of the people on the short list is it mid-April or sometime, Younes?
Yeah. 11th of April, yeah. And they're looking to wrap up the entire sale by the end of April. So it should be okay. Hopefully, it should be okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So this is the thing, and I think it's important to highlight this as well, is that the nature of this sale was quite unique in the fact that, everything with the whole sanction situation, but Roman making sure that he can put in as many safeguards as possible so we don't have opportunists taking over the club, because like the things that are stipulated in it, like I've got to repeat it again, have to be able to invest in the club, in the new stadium. You must. That's a condition. I keep hearing this. I keep hearing this. I don't know how official or true this is, but apparently there's got to be a 300 million investment into the first team and in and around Chelsea as well. So there has to, whoever's buying this club, if those rumors are to be believed, they have to put their hand in their pocket. It's unavoidable. Yeah. Whether it's the Ricketts or and God forbid, I don't want the Ricketts to come to the club. I don't. But I'm just saying, like, anybody who takes that mantle, there are contractual obligations that have to be met once you get the club. So in that sense, that's what does give me comfort. But with this Ricketts situation, Younes, let's talk about that before we finish up. Do you think that all of this quote unquote positive news that we're seeing on social media and that is being fed by the Ricketts PR machine? They're just throwing money left, right, and center to try and clean up their image.
Yeah, they have to. They ain't got a choice. Because they can't just leave it like that. And right now they know they don't have anyone. I think they don't have anyone in terms of the English media who are either affiliated or backing them, or so they had to do something. And in their eyes, rightfully so. That's the only way. They have to try and fix up their image, and they got to try every angle they can. Because right now, as we've all seen, it's looking like Todd Boehly and his consortium are clear. And even it goes for the others. Like the others have, like the Martin Broughton, Sebastian Coe lot. There's Harris and the other geezer, who have shares at Palace that they have to give up. The other guy I didn't know apparently has to give up his shares of Atalanta if he wants to be considered. Todd Boehly hasn't got to do any of that.
He's got a clean run. This is what we were trying to say.
It's clean. The Ricketts have to come up with some madness to try and change public opinion, which they won't. They just won't.
Well, I really hope the CST are looking at the Ricketts with as much doubt as we are, to be completely honest with you. I believe AF is Uncle Jester. I think it is him. If it's not, please correct me if it's not. But it says Liz Truss says sanctions against Russia could be lifted if they leave Ukraine, which would be interesting, Younes, because this was something that I was actually thinking of making the title of this video, and I was a little bit afraid to do it. The question needs to be asked with everything that's going on with Roman Abramovich. Obviously, we've heard the alleged poisoning that he has been suffering and the signs that he's been showing from it. Mm-hmm. He's been, quote unquote, trying to broker peace talks between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, that's been confirmed by both sides. So he has.
There you go. Yeah. So at this point, it's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Is the possibility of all of this coming to an end and a massive remontada for Roman Abramovich just walking through Stamford Bridge like Thanos? Could it be? Can you see the British government lifting the sanctions off Roman Abramovich? Because what more can the brother do? Brother, he's like, listen, I'm getting poisoned out here. I'm doing all these negotiations trying to stop all of this, and you're still trying to take my Chelsea. Hey, bro, allow me. Let me have my club. I'll still sell it. I might still sell it, but at least give me the peas, bro. Yeah, I'm not an ally of Putin. I'm dying out here, for goodness sake. Yeah. So,
I mean, in that aspect of, and again, you rightfully say it has to be said, alleged poisoning, because that did come from one side only, and the other side denied it. We don't know. The truth is, we don't know, and we can't afford to get sued out here. So we're just gonna say alleged. He was, and this is fact, he was in Istanbul, brokering peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. He was there. He was pictured. He was there in the room whilst Russians and Ukrainians were there having a discussion with the Turkish mediating. So Ukraine have confirmed it. Russia have confirmed it. He has been in the middle of peace talks. He has been trying to get both sides together. It could be that if, and again, this is a big if Russia pick up their stuff and go, they won't. But if they did, then yeah, maybe the sanctions against Russia might be brought down, and therefore Roman and all the oligarchs have their sanctions lifted, which in turn would mean that he keeps Chelsea if he wants to. I don't think that's going to happen all in the space of 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
No, this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, I think, is going to go on for a very long time.
Yeah,
so
I think so
I don't
too.
think so.
I think so too. Hey, listen,
it would be lovely. I can imagine it. Like Stamford Bridge opens up, Roman comes through the tunnel, everyone, throws their drinks up in the air. It'd be mad. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, either. Red, white, and common new blues, the actual real Uncle Jesters. My bad, bro. My bad. For some reason, I thought AF was you. The one and only, the original. Sorry, Guni. I think Roman will sell no matter what. That's what I think as well. Boehly is my favorite to take over. I think, honestly, Younes, this is my thinking of it. Let's say the sanctions were miraculously to be lifted. And Exeter 1985 quite rightly pointed something out. Won't happen. The UK government would have to admit that they made a mistake or never really had any evidence, which is a fact.
Exactly.
They're not going to do that. And quite frankly, they're not going to hand over an asset that's currently in their possession worth 2.5 to 2.7 billion pounds. It's not going to happen. This ain't the first time they've teeth something off people, and it's not going to be the last. So if you get me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Yeah, it's and even if I was Roman, right, and I'm talking like I've got billions in my account. If I was fucking Roman Abramovich, come on, Guni. But it just seems like it's more. It seems like it's more trouble than it's worth for him owning the club, because even before these sanctions, they weren't trying to give him no visa. There's always some like agenda against him, and I just think at this point, like just for his peace of mind and for his sake, just I think it's best for him to sell the club at this point. So much has happened and he's been targeted for so many things, bruv. I couldn't even blame him if he said, you know what, I don't even have the energy to own this no more.
It's outrageous because when you think about it, when you think about it now and where the positions are now, all of this might have been for nothing. Like, if Roman from the get-go, which he said he was doing in terms of brokering peace talks, was going to donate to victims in terms of a sale, if that was happening, because he already knew he was getting targeted. Now we know, and it's been confirmed by the Ukrainians and the Russians, that he is brokering a peace deal between the two. Well, what in the blue hell was our government doing then?
Exactly.
Maybe he didn't have to get targeted in the first place. Maybe we didn't have to go through this. Bruv. Look, yeah. If we're gonna talk about that Will Smith slap, yeah, I'd love it if Roman could walk up to Parliament and give Boris one around the jaw.
Listen, Roman needs to do. You remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin used to run into the ring for the Royal Rumble, and he just it was The Rock. It was The Rock. He used to run into and he was slapping everybody with sauce, fam. He was just looking at the bow. I want him to do that to all 19 teams in the Premier League, every away game, bro. Yeah, and I want the Chelsea headhunters standing behind him, yeah, to make sure nothing happens. I want to go to all the owners, all the fans, just slapping him like The Rock.
Oh my god!
And just Abramovich to say something. That would just be the greatest thing ever. But yeah, man, listen, this is all utopian thinking. The way I see it is Abramovich is gone. The best owner that we'll ever have for Chelsea Football Club. Younes, let the people them know what you've got coming up today, or if you've already uploaded something. But before you do that, 255 people in the building on this live. Thank you very much. For me, that is a very high number. Really appreciate you. Make sure you do smash that like button, as well as Younes is quite rightly pointing out. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10K and we need your help to do that. But Younes, talk to the people.
So no, I haven't got a video yet. It's coming though. I've got a Reddit video for this week that's coming out. I'd say in the next maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And yeah, that will be it for today. Tomorrow we'll see what's popping up until the weekend, and then we start getting ready for Premier League to come back and Chelsea to return. So yeah,
absolutely. Before we go, we got another super chat actually, again from Exeter 1985. One thing that nobody has mentioned, if you notice, no one has said one word where the money will go from the sale. 3 billion of whatever currency is a lot of money, and nobody's saying a word. But didn't we say this, Younes? The talk about where this money is going to and this charity stuff is going to be forgotten about. They're just going to put it in their back pocket and pretend it never happened.
Of course, they'll probably come up with some fake document to go, it's all been donated to the victims. This is the evidence made in Microsoft Word 20 minutes ago, but here it is. And yes, we've donated it. And then Boris is going to go, okay, here you go. You take 500 million, you take 250 million, you take that.
No, exactly.
It's a madness.
Exactly. And as for this channel, tomorrow I should be going live with Matisse. I believe it's 4:00 p.m. UK time. If it's not, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you are following the social medias where I do the updates. And this time I will get it right. I'll put AM and .PM because Younes, you see what happened? I put 11:45 p.m. for the YouTube stream, but luckily on the caption I put 11:45 a.m. So I think I got lucky there. I got lucky there. But to everybody that is in the chat, listen, you know how much we appreciate you over here. We love your contributions. We love seeing your thoughts. And another thing as well is we are going to have our interactive call-in this week, my favorite show on the channel. So either Thursday or Friday, I will be putting the link in the chat. So anybody who has an opinion can interact, but there are rules. There are rules. I need to see you on camera before you jump on. You get me? And you got to be respectful. And that's about it. You get me? But To everybody, please make sure you do smash that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you are new. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please make sure you do stay safe. And all of our links are down there, clickable, including Younes's as well, before I forget that. Peace out, people.